Hello, welcome to my channel, The Healing Academy with Connie Rose. Emotions, right? Can't help the way we feel, but we can certainly work through it. Our emotions are just energy. Everything's energy, but emotions can get stuck. They can get stuck in us. They can get stuck in our body. They can get stuck in our aura, in our energy, in everything about us. So it is very, very important that we work through our emotions, and how we do that is to honor them, to observe them, to feel them, to be very forgiving and compassionate towards ourselves. Now, I'm also an EFT practitioner where we tap, which we move energy. So check out some of my EFT videos if you haven't already, and follow along because it's very gentle, it's very non-intrusive, and you're in control. So that's the thing with our emotions. If we might have people in our lives or ourselves from time to time that we find it difficult to face how we feel. So we either block it, we ignore it, we suppress it, and we do all these things or avoid it. So if you don't want to feel something, you may want to, drink, smoke, use other substances, or pick fights about other things, just any avoidance techniques. And we're all human, so we've all done it, right? Some form or another. But what we need to do is really honor ourselves and forgive ourselves for ever feeling that way, because we don't find it very easy to control how we feel, but we certainly can take back our control when we honor it. So, maybe do some EFT, do some tapping. But today what we're going to do is we're going to tune into the image 1, 2, or 3 of our feelings, and we need to feel the feels for it to move through us. So let's see what Spirit wants to share. Tune in to 1, 2, or 3 and receive this general reading, and please subscribe, and all those algorithm things for YouTube. And thank you for joining me today. Let's see what is going to come about. And I will say one quick thing too. Somebody said to me the other day that I aren't pulling enough cards. Now, quickly, cards are simply a tool. Okay, when Spirit connects with me, they're already telling me what to say. Like, I'm receiving messages, images, all different ways that I communicate with Spirit, or Spirit communicates with me. So I channel. So when I listen back to this video later, I don't remember what I've said because I'm literally in the energy of Spirit. So I'm using almost my spiritual brain, not my physical brain, if that's one way of saying it. So when I use cards, I'm simply getting a card might prompt me, or it might tell me what to say next, type of thing. It'll give me an image or a feeling, and straight away I get a heartache and loss. So I know that straight away there's emotions that need to be surfacing for us, some feelings that are bubbling as a collective for us, and in order for us to move through that, we face them, we heal. Which is interesting, right? Because I've actually pulled this card for myself for the last couple of days, heartache and loss. So I also know that I'm moving through some self-compassion, some forgiveness, and letting myself feel things that I've suppressed for a while. So new stuff's coming up for me. And I know that's very relevant for these readings, because I just get told straight away what reading to do for the week. So let's face our emotions, let's feel them, let's see what's going on, and let's let them move through us so that we can become more clear. And when we're a clear channel, that's when we communicate and receive Spirit's messages much more easier. Yeah, let's run with that. So let's get into it. All right, our feelings. reading number 1. Let's see what's going on with this. Now, straight away, I get a little bit confused. My head sort of gets heavy. I've got too much going on in my energy right now. I can feel it. And I know that's what has been happening to you up until now. Now, the words up until now are very powerful, and I share this with most of my clients in most of my sessions, because when we say up until now, it almost resets what we expect to happen next. So if we always say, I always feel this way, I always wake up cranky, I always eat after 8 o'clock, I always do these things, we are programming ourselves to always do that. And it's almost, we feel it's out of our control, but it's not, because we're the one that's in control and we're the one that's programming us. So let's pull back and say up until now. So up until now, you have been quite confused. I feel like, in this energy that I've got a little bit of aggression, and this aggression isn't actually coming up. It's more suppressed. It's suppressed aggression, and I can feel quite frustrated, like I'm not getting my point across, but I'm also not being heard. And it's really hard to be heard when you're not actually expressing it, but it's hard to express it when you don't know how to. So I'm just feeling all this energy coming up for you. So I know that up until now it's been tricky, but I also know that Spirit's here to say that they're going to guide you to be able to communicate this in your way. Now, I'm a big supporter of the 5 languages of love. And if you haven't seen that just yet, the 5 languages of love, I urge you to Google it. And I'll pop a link below in the description of this reading, because the 5 languages of love is where we see what our love languages are. So your love language, I feel, is more of affection, words of affirmation and physical touch, like that real lovey-dovey. Whereas people around you could be, and remember this is a general reading, but could be, I feel, a bit more acts of service or quality time, where they just want you there rather than touch you, so to speak, and you're all about the physical touch. Or this could be vice versa, the opposites as well. Now, your words and the way you're going to communicate how you're feeling is going to, you don't want to get this wrong. So a lot of the time you just shut down. And that's not working for you anymore. It's time that you express this, because this needs to come out in a loving way rather than bubble up and take you to places you don't want to go. And of course, we get the Choose Wisely card, because it's almost like you need to plan how you're going to express this. And your emotions have been quite inconvenient, because you've been very busy and you've been pushing them to the side. So you're not letting yourself feel things. Which is quite interesting. And a few weeks ago I was running a retreat, and I was so busy that I was in robot mode. And I know that that's a little bit about you as well. And I remember my auntie saying to me, "How are you feeling?" And I went, "Don't know. Actually, I haven't been feeling because it was too inconvenient. I was busy." So me feeling into me wasn't a priority at the time for me to get the job done. But I know that had I stopped and felt things, I wouldn't have crashed the week after, which I crashed like a mother. So take the moments to stop for a second and just check in and see how you are feeling. And I know that I want to tap. So, move that emotion through, because it doesn't feel like you've got the support around you, and it doesn't feel like you're giving yourself the compassion to be able to do this without beating yourself up. So it's a real fiery energy that I'm getting with you at the moment, and it's just about to release. And how you do that is do it with compassion, do it with love, and move through it, and definitely tap, rather than just stay in that heightened tension where you're going to burst or say something that's inappropriate. I also get quite dry in my throat, so this could definitely be something like there could be some medication that you're playing around with. And I don't know what playing around with actually means. So that, again, a very general reading. So take what resonates. But, there could be a change in medication or talk around medication, or you know, you've had enough of the pharma, you know, the big pharma, and you want to go into something more alternative or holistic, and you're not getting the support around you either, which is quite frustrating. I know that my young boy wasn't well last week, and I actually, you know, went to my alternate therapist's, holistic therapist. I also go to the doctors, and I sort of weigh it up along with how I feel in my body, and I, you know, want to trust the system, but I also want to, I very much trust nature. So I like to balance things, and I feel like this is something that's happening with you at the moment. You're not sure what to trust, but just feel into your body, and when those emotions are dissolved or felt or recognized, or you've given yourself compassion and you've forgiven yourself for feeling that way, you're going to be much more in a state of clarity, and you'll feel into your body and mind and soul, and you'll know what you need. You'll know if it comes from, you know, pharmaceuticals for now, or if it means dropping back on the medication or upping it, or there's just something here I feel needs to shift, and it may very well be just nature, you know, some homeopathics and you know, naturopath, or just simply being in nature. I definitely feel that, because there's the base chakra here. So I feel like there's been a bit of anxiety. So whether this be, you know, I had clients lately that said, I've always been anxious. It's like, wow. And that's where I go, bang. Up until now, I've been anxious. Up until now. And again, there's a tapping video on YouTube here that I've shared previously, which I will share in the description, of tapping away a panic attack before it takes over. And sometimes we want to, and I'm getting hot already, so I need to take my my jacket off, because I'm feeling into this emotion, I'm feeling into this anxiety, and you know, you get that flush of heat, and all of a sudden it's on for young and old, and you just, you know, have to you have to stop, you have to hide away. And this is something that you've been doing because it stops you right here in your throat chakra. You can't express yourself because you're feeling too unsafe. And this is very much up until now. Very much up until now. And I just want to finish with one of these cards, because things are shit is changing for you. And I love it, because you're working from the core issues now. You're going, okay, we can be, you know, treat our symptoms, and, you know, it's very symptomatic what we're looking at. Or you can go, okay, I mean, look, a doctor tried to give my little boy some steroids this week, and everything in my body just went, bleh. No. In my opinion, steroids are a last resort type of thing. And look, there's a place for them and all the rest of it, but there was nothing in my body that was saying yes. So I just feel like that's only treating the symptom, right? We want to get to the core, and that's what you're doing. You're getting to the core, you're ready for it. And you want to look at different options, because we get the adversity card. And it just says, I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. And this is where you're forced to look at different types of solutions. I don't know if solutions is the right word, but different types of avenues. You've got a lot of choices at the moment. But you've got to choose them wisely. And it may very well be a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, not so much of that. So you're allowed to chop and change. You don't have to just go, this is my solution and that's it. It's more of trial and error at the moment, and that's where you're at, and Spirit's saying that they've got you. And it's working through those emotions to become that clear channel, to be able to receive the guidance that they're trying to give you at the moment. And that is your reading, my beautifuls, for pile number 1, card number 1, image number 1. Yeah, you've got this. All right, number 2, feel the feels. You know what? As soon as I sit with the images that just come to me, and you've chosen number 2, and I observed it, I sat, I meditated, and the thing here is the lack of trust that you're feeling at the moment. It's almost like your trust has been broken. I feel pain in my lower back. So I know that you're feeling unsupported in your emotion. And there's this, you're just not trusting what you're seeing. You're not trusting your gut. You're not trusting the people around you. There's just this aspect of not trusting. And this has come up for you quite abruptly almost. It's not something that you've always done. I mean, from time to time, we're all human, right? But it just feels like you're not sure if anyone's got your back at the moment. And Spirit's here to say, we have got your back. And the thing is, when Spirit has your back, it doesn't matter who else does. But that's the unshakable faith of knowing that they're around. And they want you to know they're around. So look out for synchronicities, because feathers are very important. I know that there's feathers. And this is a general reading, and this doesn't apply to all of you, but I feel like someone's considering a feather tattoo, or it's like drawing. I don't know if you're designing your own, cards or colouring in something at the moment, but I feel like there's a lot of colour or shading at least around feathers for you. So look out for them, because that's Spirit's message to you, specifically feathers. I know there's a lot of ways they're communicating with you at the moment, but mainly feathers. And I get the reach out card for you. So I know that even though you're finding it hard to trust, it's not so much you're blaming almost other people or situations or what's happened to you in the past and that sort of thing. But the thing is, it's really yourself you're not trusting. You're not trusting your gut. You're not trusting your inner knowing. So I feel like you've, in the past, had a relationship with Spirit, whether or not you've gone to a few classes or workshops or retreats or something like that, and you know that Spirit's there for you, but there's this aspect of, like for instance, I'm running a mediumship development course in July, a 10-week course. And see, I'm getting cold now, so I am feeling a bit distant from people. So up until now, you've been excluding yourself from things, moving away from scenarios that might ask more of you, because there's an aspect of you not wanting to partake. So whether or not you've been hiding under your covers, hiding at home, burying yourself under work, blaming the kids for the way you feel, there's been an aspect of you not showing up. And Spirit's here to say, time to reach out, my beautiful souls, because the emotion that you're hearing, what's that mean? The emotion that you're hearing. Okay, don't watch the news. When we watch the news, we get our minds just being filled of fearful things. Like, it's really hard to trust. And, we all know that where our focus goes, our energy flows. So there's an aspect of you flowing your energy toward what can go wrong. And we create a lot of that sort of reality, right? Time to reach out, my beautiful souls. And reaching out is different for everybody. And it could simply be that you might get your morning coffee and actually have a conversation with the person. And that could be enough. It could be that, you reach out to someone like myself or someone in this industry or something that I'm an empowerment coach, I'm an EFT practitioner, I teach Reiki and soul coach and all that type of thing. Or you might want to connect with Spirit and do a course. It could be that you just want to read a book. It could be that you want to go into a space where there's like-minded souls, so some sort of intuition circle. You might want to create one of your own. Now, that is something you've thought about, but you feel like you're not ready. And just being around like-minded people will be enough for you at the moment, but you aren't doing it. And they're all walks of life. They're people that you wouldn't even expect. So if you are in a role, like a job or a workplace or a schoolyard where you pick up the kids or whatever you might do, or even a service station when you're paying for fuel, it's really interesting. So start having conversations with strangers, because you're going to find that they're looking for what you're looking for. They're looking for what you're looking for. But you're not trusting yourself that you're going to find it. Now, I've got the crown chakra. Now, that's very much the connection between you and everyone, everything. Because that's where we're connected, right? We're all one. Connected to source, connected to God, connected to each other. We're all one. And you're missing the trust. And when you don't have the trust, it's very, very hard for you to feel like you almost belong. So we're living in our base chakra, which is fight and flight, not feeling secure. My bowl just moved. What is my bowl? Let's see. Smudge. Okay. Got some smudge. My bowl literally just moved. Shit happens like that around here all the time. So you might be seeing and feeling that spirit is showing up around you with things moving around, lights flickering, that sort of stuff. But the smudge, you might want to clear out the energy, because I feel like there's a bit of stagnant energy around you, and that needs to be moved through, okay? I'm going to get another card for you. And this also feels like, you know, you could be having headaches as well, like a bit of tension going on. And because we get the crown chakra, for us to connect with spirit, that needs to be clear as well. So we can have energy that moves up and then just stops right in our head because we're blocked. And trust will do that. Lack of trust will definitely do that. And it's when we surrender and we ask spirit to come close, and we're ready to expand our connection, and that's where you're at. You want to connect with people, but you're scared to, and there's worry going on, and that is all about to end, because spirit is saying it's time that you start trusting. And it says, I'm learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. And it's really surrendering to the process, surrendering to you know, is it Buddha that says if there's a remedy, that's great, and if there's not, no, excuse me, if there's a remedy, there's nothing to worry about, but if there's no remedy, there's nothing to worry about, which means it doesn't matter what's going to happen. Worrying is going to not help regardless. So if you've got a solution, nothing to worry about. If there's no solution, then why worry? Because it's only going to bring more apprehension, more lack of trust, more scarcity mentality, more fight and flight, that type of thing. And I just want to pull out one more card for you. And it's a service card. And it says, I feel good when I am, I feel good when I can help others. So it means I feel good when I am of service. So you do like getting amongst it, as in being there and connecting with people, but you've really lost the spark of that lately, because you just feel like you're going to be let down left, right and center. I'm here to say, and Spirit's here to say, that you're the only one letting yourself down at the moment, because you've retreated, you've removed yourself. And the only way to get back into it is by really asking Spirit to show themselves, because they're trying, they're moving things around, they're appointments can cancel, and people can be next to you at the lights. Like there's synchronicities. They are trying their hardest, but you're not reaching out. You're not having the conversations. So see, who is that person that serves you coffee every day? Who are they? Ask them, see how they're going, rather than like they're doing their best. They're just trying to make coffee, and they're trying to race through because they've got a next person. But while they're making their coffee, you can ask them, do you have children? How long have you worked here? Where did you live before? And start connecting. And that's just an example. But it feels as though that you're feeling like everybody else is almost non-existent, robotic, and they're a real person, you see. And this is not something you're knowing that you're doing. Don't get me wrong. You're not doing this deliberately. It's almost like just a coping mechanism up until now, because you're ready to take that next step and start trusting again. And I just want to get a word. These are like, affirmation cards or just a little words of advice. Here it is. And it says, you are standing at the beginning of a great journey into love. Be ready. And that is your message for number 2. Alrighty, number 3. I just want to sit here for a second, because I need to slow down with you. I almost need you to sit still. So if you're not sitting still at the moment and you're doing a million things while you're listening to your reading, it's almost like I want to say, come back. Come back when you've just got a moment to get a cup of tea and just listen to your 10-minute reading. It's not that hard, but you have been quite hectic, as in there's too much going on. There's too much going on around you, and it is hectic, and you're missing out on the small victories. You're not giving yourself that praise that you deserve. Now, I almost want to say, I'm not confused in your energy. I'm certainly not confused. I'm actually quite clear. I know what's going on. I know what I want, and I'm very in order. But in that, I'm missing out on the joy. I'm missing out on experiencing this for what it is, experiencing life, because, the purpose of life is just to be joyful. That's it. And you're getting a lot done, but it's not aligned with joy. The outcome is, the intention is, all the rest of it. But right here, right now, you're missing the boat. And the joy needs to come into it. And it's simply by just going, you know what? I'm just going to take a moment and have a cup of tea. I'm just going to have a moment and put my feet on the grass. I'm just going to have a moment and smile at my, family, friends, photos, watch a comedy. I'm just going to take a moment. And that's what's really your message is at the moment. Spirit just wants to say, stop and look around, because you're missing things. Now, we get the emotional withdrawal card, and this is something that you've done to get things done. So you've literally just put your emotions on, on the back burner. You've popped them away just so that you can get things done. And that's why I'm saying it's not that you're not feeling, I know you're feeling clear, as in you're getting things done, but it's in a way of clarity, but roboticness sort of thing. It's more like you're just missing the giggles in between. Like, you should be laughing at yourself that it's, something might be taking this long, or that shit's hitting the fan, or you're waiting on a delivery and it didn't come, or your email bounced, or just something. Like, give yourself a little bit of joy along the way, because in that the triumph card comes in, and that's you right there. You've got to be celebrating what you're doing at the moment, because have a freaking look at what you do with your day. And everybody's different, and this is a general reading, but it could be as simple as getting out of bed, cleaning the house and watching the kids. It could be as simple as getting up, getting to work on time, doing your job and getting home. It could be simple as making dinner with 3 veg. Please. These things are little victories, little wins every single day, and you ain't celebrating it. So why not? Why not? Why aren't you saying how bloody magical you are and that you are enough? Because in this energy, I feel like I've always got something to do and something on, and I've got to get there, and you're missing the journey. Bring it back, sweet thing. Bring it back, because it's time for you to realize that you are allowed to enjoy the journey. It's not a destination. I'm sick and tired of this energy being destination. Now, there's a self-esteem card that comes with this next message here, and it says, I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. And the thing is, because you feel that you're on a mission, you're very driven, and I love that energy about you, but it's almost like if you don't get the job done, you're not enough. If you don't do it properly, you're getting it wrong. And this is, Spirit's here to say, bullshit. Because you being here each day is enough. And it's time that you sit back and celebrate you. Imagine that. What would that look like? How would that feel? Because we're all on a journey. We're all, trying our best. But you're pushing yourself to the limits. We don't want burnout here. We don't want you to feel as if that you're the only one, I want to say, driving this ship. You're the only one on this ship. I don't know what that means. But we don't want the ship to sink either, do we? We want it to be afloat. And in order for you to do that, you need to slow down, baby. You need to slow down, because you're missing the fun. What are you doing for fun? Where's the balance? And you may very well have a deadline. I can feel you going, but I've got a deadline, and I've got this, but I've got no reasons. I've got no reasons. I've got no excuse. I have to do it. Well, Spirit's here to say, yeah, nah. Slow down. Let yourself feel into what it is that's necessary to feel, because you may very well be clear of where you're going, But there's so many other ways, so many magical ways that you can do it. Because when you get out of your own way, magical things happen. When you let yourself just flow, give yourself the intention and do everything you can to get there, one by one, bit by bit, but stop along the way to reassess. You're allowed to go, I've been doing it this way, but it probably isn't quite time efficient, or it probably isn't giving me the time with my people in my life, or it isn't giving me time for myself. I don't remember the last time I had an oil bath. I don't remember the last time I had a sip of wine. I don't remember. Whatever it is that brings you a little bit of joy, there's no balance here. There's no balance. And that's what Spirit's saying, that they've come in and they're swooped in today to say, stop, just stop and have a look. Now, 2 cards came out just now. So I get, yeah, beautiful. I get the Seek card. And as you can see, this beautiful soul is sitting there in nature and having a beautiful meditation. But the next card I get is the Manifest. Now, this one's freaking magical. Freaking magical. And I read the other day that, if you're, you should meditate. But if you've got no time to meditate, that's when you really should meditate. And see, I do a yin yoga class each week, and that's just an hour out of my week. And by the time I get there, I think, oh God, I've got so much on. I've got to do this, and this, and it's hectic. And in the class, it's so slow that it slows your nervous system down and all those beautiful, wonderful things for your body. And in that space, it's almost like I have this business meeting with myself, and I can sort of move things around in my head, and I just get this sense of clarity, and I feel so more centered. And I do that with meditation also, but I deliberately show up to my yin class. So there needs to be something that you do religiously, because you like structure, you like, your ducks in a row, you like all that stuff, and you're good at that. But because it's not bringing you much joy just yet, it's more so that you need to find those little things. And if you put it into your schedule, that you're turning up to a class for once a week or something like that, it's really going to make all the difference. And because you're so busy and because you're so driven, you need it more so. And when you do that, you're going to really feel connected to Spirit. More things will come in, and you'll know, easier ways of doing what you're already doing. There is an easier way to what you're doing. There's actually many. There's many, but you don't know it yet because you're so used to doing what you do, the way you do it, and feeling like you're the only one that can get the job done. So you're very much structured and like that. But when you do take that time and you stop and you reevaluate and you feel that joy and giggle at the stuff ups or whatever you call them, that's where the manifesting really comes in. And that's where you sit in your power. You can see the outcome you want, and you put your order out there, and you feel it happening for you. But you need to slow down to do that. I mean, you can do it anyway, but you'll do it a million times quicker if you slow down and take that time out, feel the joy and giggle, and have a bit of playtime. Playtime is what's calling you. And I just want to pull one more card out of this deck. You know what? I just got hungry. And I know that you're the type of person that gets your jobs done and don't realise when it's time to eat as well. So I know Spirit's bringing that to you too. Make sure you're having, eating, nutrition, not just rubbish too. Again, you got choose wisely. Choose wisely. So it's your turn to choose. You're not a victim to this situation. It's all about choosing. Okay, so that is your reading, my beautiful souls. Do not forget, I've got lots of different upcoming events. I'm going to pop them all down in the description. Please like, subscribe, all those YouTube things, and drop me a line if you feel like you want a one-to-one reading. Remember, this is general. I also send out healing vibes, do Reiki, courses, workshops, retreats, all those things. And thank you very much for tuning in. Be kind to others, but especially beautiful souls, be kind to yourself. Peace out.